We are welcoming you again to another great episode of Off Topic Podcast. My name is Kimberly Stovall. As you guys know, I'm often referred to as Stovall. Today, I'm sharing the mic with my awesome castmates to discuss various trending topics, other life events, and most importantly, this thing called the school of life, because we all know that life be lifing. I'm gonna jump right into it and let's get started. Just want to see how you guys this week went this week. Hayward, I'm gonna throw it to you. How did your week go?
My week has been pretty good. It was a little slow, and I'm happy that we made it to the end of it. That's all
Okay,
I have to say. Yeah.
I know that's right. Absolutely. When Friday comes, we are ready for it. Woo!
Seriously.
Mama Kim, what about you? How did your week go?
It went really well. I only did 4 days this week, so
Come on,
it
four
went
days.
4 days. I used my time this time. I tried to not to go to work, but I said they've been checking people's time, so I put my little 8 hours in so I could take off yesterday.
I know
So
that's right.
it
I
was
know
very
that's
smooth.
right. All right. Ronnie, what about you? How was your week?
It was good. It was busy and long, but good.
Ain't it crazy how life can change any day. Any day it could be a different trajectory. Yeah, so that's crazy. Mo, what about you? How did your life go? I mean, how did your week go?
Hey, my week was good. Pretty low key. So no complaints.
All
Smooth week.
right.
Good about it.
Okay.
I do
All
hate
right.
that I didn't make it to Indy this weekend for All Star Weekend, but yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I didn't actually go to India. The events is just so much. It's like so much going on, and then it snowed. I wonder what those celebrities were thinking. I know that they they didn't bring their snow coats.
Yeah.
But
I
it's a
wasn't
lot of
really
great
thinking about
things.
I wasn't thinking so much about the celebrities and what they were doing. I was more so concerned about like what we would have been doing. You know what I'm saying? 10 years back,
The good old days, All Star Weekend.
pre
Absolutely.
PI. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, good times. Definitely good times. In other episodes, we'll have to talk about the good old days. Those were the days were good. You hear me? We knew how to party. We had life balance. Now that to me was a life balance. I mean, I really think I was telling my sister this the other day. I was like, I think our age group literally lived an extreme life because literally we partied every day and we were definitely could take care of home though. We kept jobs. We were parents and but we were gonna be on that club scene or the outdoor scene. So definitely extreme life.
Okay, club scene.
That was Mario. I was just following along. But I mean, unless unless it happened to be on the far west side of the Indianapolis greater areas at Tremors, and then I didn't need to follow along. I'm like, Mario, come this way. That dang on Tremors, listen, we were half owners of that thing.
My God.
Seriously. All
Mm-mm-mm.
right, guys, let's jump into this next segment called "Speak to Me" and the word of the week. Let's talk about boundaries. Mama Kim, start us off. What do you think about that word? When you hear that word, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Boundaries.
So boundaries for me are allowing people to come into your space and take advantage of the things that you are offering. Being kind, being sweet, and people coming into your boundaries. Got a story real quick.
Okay.
So on my way to here to Rockwall, I stopped at the gas station to get some gas and went to go get me some beverage. And a black
Beverage.
guy, walked up to me. He said, "Hey, you're very beautiful." I was like, "Oh, thank you." He came back again and he said, "Hey, I ran out of gas. Could you get me some gas?" And I was like,
Mm,
"No." But I didn't say no because, of course, you don't know what guys or men are thinking when they ask you this question. And I said, "Well, I don't have any cash on me, but if I had some cash, I would give it to you." And he said, "Well, you have your card." you can go to the ATM and get some cash and give it to me so I can get some gas. And he said, I can't believe that you're a Black person and you're not willing to help another Black person in a time of need. I hope that anytime you're in need, that somebody's willing to help you. I said, sir, have a good day. So for my boundaries, I was just like, the old Kim would have been like, oh, hey, come over here. I'm still pumping gas. Let me put some gas in your car to help you out. But how did you get to the gas station, sir? How did you even come to ask me for $1? So my new boundaries is to say no. My old boundaries used to be yes, 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 yes. But my new boundaries is a no for me. So that just happened today. And that's the new 2024 Kim that I have to go into my new life into, saying no. So that's my boundaries for my new life, is just to say no. Because, I've always been a yes girl. So I had to say no. So that's my boundaries.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. Boundaries are so hard. When I think about boundaries, it's like it's so many elements to that word for me. But Ronnie, we're gonna jump over to you. When you think about the word boundary, what comes to mind?
I'm sorry, I had to get off mute. Boundaries. Just being upfront about how I expect to be treated and what I won't tolerate. In so many words, basically a way to ensure safety of all parties. So
That's the PG version.
that's
Safety
the
for
PG
all
version.
parties.
Safety for
I
all
need to
parties.
work on this wording. I like that word.
In so many words, stay in your motherfucking lane because it's safe there. Okay. Don't cross over into mine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But seriously,
Hey,
just you got to set them because people will take advantage of you, and it's hard. It can be hard, especially with family and stuff. But you just got to know what you're not going to take, and you have to set them, and you have to stand on them. We can all set them, but that standing on them sometimes gets tricky depending on who it is. So
yes,
yeah.
yes. Hayward, what you thinking? Boundaries.
So I think when I think of boundaries, I think that they are beautifully necessary. I think just in getting older, I've learned that they are extremely necessary. I think a lot of times, just as a young person, you don't really realize that a lot of times you have boundaries that need to be set, but you don't specifically know how to address them. Just kind of like how Ronnie was saying, specifically with family, it can be extremely difficult for those that are very, very close to you to kind of set those boundaries because you're so quick to say yes, kind of like Mama Kim was saying. Because I too was a person like just very much like a people pleaser. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was good. But it's like when you get into that mode of setting your boundaries, saying no, and just sticking to it, it's like they just have to deal with it and you have to move forward with it. And I'm at a space where I'm just like, they will live if I say no. So everybody will be all good. So
yeah, absolutely. Mo, what about you? Boundaries. What does that word mean to you? What do you think about?
Not till probably about a year or so ago did I really have a better understanding of what boundaries really meant. I would be one to say I would get angry or feel a certain kind of way about others who would operate within their boundaries, and I would feel like, well, you kind of slighted in some regards, in certain senses. But as time has gone on, as I've gotten a little older, I've now realized that boundaries is a way of honoring yourself. And kind of like, I know we're all familiar with that old saying, you got to teach people how to treat you. So when you're using boundaries or you're setting boundaries, you are in a sense teaching people how to treat you. So I look at it from a different light now. Only issue that I now have with boundaries is as I have moved into this space of setting boundaries, sometimes people get used to who you were or what you were doing. And so as you transition into a non-boundary type of atmosphere to a setting boundaries, not everybody understands that journey. And so then people want to say, oh, you changed or this, that, and the third. And that makes it difficult in the journey of, I guess, I don't want to say journey of finding yourself, but the journey of, understanding the importance of setting boundaries. It makes it difficult because not everybody, they're so used to who you were and not as accepting of who you are now.
That makes sense. I know over the past year, you and I have talked about this word boundaries. And when I hear other people talk about it or been in other conversations, um before I can even get to the action part of the boundaries, one thing, and I think I heard Keita Rose or somebody say this, or that another podcast, a conversation piece or something, but somebody was talking about setting up the foundation. For me, when I think about this word, I think about the word foundation comes to mind, and setting that up and how hard that is. um Not hard setting the boundary, but hard standing on the boundary. But it also brings a cloud of confusion for me, because one thing that I think about is like when we set this boundary, are we supposed to inform that we set this boundary so people won't continue to treat you the same? Um, to make it clear. Does that make it clear, or do we just go into the boundary that we've set, and then how do we handle when people are faced with a different version of us? So I can't even get to the part of the boundary, the action part, because setting it up for me is like confusion. It comes with a cloud of confusion for me. I heard somebody else talk about or give an example of a boundary, and this kind of made sense. Like a fixed mindset. And kind of the example that they talked about was stating or saying, like, don't yell at me or I'm gonna no, what was it? It said, don't shout at me when you talk to me because I don't like that. People think that that sentence is a boundary, but really the boundary will be, if you shout at me while we're talking, I'm gonna actually walk out. So like trying to understand the difference in those examples, to even help me set up a boundary, cuz setting it up, I guess it'll be okay. I mean, that part seems a little easy, but standing on it is something that seems to be the hard part. What do you guys think about that?
I understand what you're saying with that. I think setting it up, when you set it up, it's already in your head. Like you've already made it up that this is, I don't like this when this happens. It's happened too many times. It has to stop because I don't like the way it makes me feel. So that's already there. That's your boundary. It's not for you to actually, like if it's not happening right now, it's some, say I did something to you last week and you finally set that boundary that Ronnie has done this so many times and I'm over it. It's not for you to call me and say, hey, next time you do this, this is what's going to happen. Next time I do it, that's how I'm gonna find out that you set that boundary. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
call and hold your hand and none of that. You just gonna know next time that stopped last week when you did that to me. We're not doing that no more. We done with that.
Mhm.
That's how they find out. Like you don't have to hold anybody's hand to tell them, well, if you do this the next time, because to me that's he said that. So let me go ahead and try real quick and see if she's gonna stand on it. That's just the
Mhm.
oh, next time they come, you just hit them with it, and they're not gonna like it. But this
Mhm.
is where we at, and it's not acting. I can't stand that. And I think Mario said it too. Um, how people think that you're acting funny or that you changed. That I hate that feeling because to myself it's like I'm acting funny because I want you to respect me, and I'm not gonna keep letting you mistreat me. That's me acting funny. So I'm
It's a
okay
it's a
if you
form of manipulation.
respect me. Oh, I'm sorry. Say it again, Hayward. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying it's a form of manipulation.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Hey, I got a quick question for you, Ronnie. Like, was this always who you were, or did you come to this point? As far as I always just tease Stovall about, hey, know your worth, know your worth, know your worth. And so I think a big part of knowing your worth is being able to set those boundaries with people who don't recognize or value who you are. So I guess I was just wondering, like, if you always, in a sense, valued who you were, knew your worth to the point that you knew what you was and were not going to accept.
Okay, so Let's give y'all some background. So, yes, and I say yes because if you've met my mom and my grandmother, like Kim can vouch for that. Like it's always this, you stand on who you are, you set boundaries. You can't just let anybody come in and do, and not in a nasty way, but early on I seen it with my grandmother, my aunts. I've seen it, with my mom. Like she'll take the shirt off her back and give it to anybody, but she still has her limit, and when she sets it, you can't cross that. So it was always instilled with me: know your worth, know your worth, know your worth, and don't let anybody take advantage of you. You don't have to be nasty about it, but you can, in so many words, how can I say it? It's okay to say no. I learned that early. Sometimes as a kid, it's like, or depending on certain people, you feel like you have to, well, I kind of got to say yes, or I feel obligated. But if you don't want to, it's a nice way to say no. However, I was married. I was married to my kid's father. And in that time, a lot happened. Gained a lot of weight. It's like a lot happened. Um, to where I didn't feel it, and he made sure I didn't feel it on purpose. So I lost myself. That whole boundaries thing, it's like it went away. So it took me, and it that was Kim, that was dark. Like that was dark for me because I didn't, like, it took my mom, and I'm an only child. So it took my mom sitting down one day, and it broke my heart. And she just said, "You're not my daughter. I don't know who you are. Like where's my baby? Because we don't, you wouldn't allow this. Like what would you tell a friend?" And my thing was, I'm going around in circles, but my thing was, well, I can't, or I don't know, or just down, depressed, just in a bad way. So I remember my mom saying, if one of your friends or your cousin Kim or I sat down and told you I was going through this, what would you say to me? And that just, it was a whole thing. And I think, I kid you not, within like that 2 week period, in so many words, I had to remember who the fuck I was and kind of get back to that, because I had my mom always, and not in a conceited way, but just, you're you're already a female and you're a black female. So you got those two things against you. So you gotta go. If you're not confident, they're really gonna fuck with you. So you have to go in sure of who you are and know your worth and know what you have to offer at all times. Even in friendships, people act funny with you. You can get new friends. You don't gotta kiss nobody's butt, so I that was always instilled in me. Then I lost it. But then I found it again, which then full circle comes around to, I got divorced from their dad in 2014. I left them in 2012. I'm still single, y'all. But it's not that I have to be. It's one of those things that when you lose your peace and you get that shit back, if I even see, if the flag could be pink, I don't want it. I'm done. Gone. I'm good. Mm-mm. So
Mhm.
it's so to answer your question, I grew up like that, but I lost it. But in losing it, and this was a question we didn't ask last week on the first segment that I thought we were going to ask about regrets. In losing it, I learned so much. So while it was a regret, I wouldn't change it because
Mm.
so much was learned during that time. So now it's like I know where that was and how that made me feel, and I can't go back there. If I even think I'm going back there, it's a no.
We'll definitely have to add that to be one of the words for speak to me, regret, and kind of talk about that. Good dialogue, guys. That was a good dialogue. All right, let's move into another segment. Would you rather? Oh, last week that was a heavy one. We had a couple of heavy would you rather's. Let's jump into this for this week. Let's jump into it. Let's do a light one this time. We'll start with a light one. Um, Hayward, I'm gonna start you off on this one. Would you rather have a personal chef, even though I know you're getting into this whole chef field with your deliver foods? Would you rather have a personal chef, or would you want a personal driver?
I would absolutely want a personal chef. I don't need anybody to drive me around. Like I feel like it takes so much time to cook. Like that would be extremely beneficial in my opinion. Um, yeah, I can drive around to get wherever I need to go, but if I had somebody like making my meals regularly, that would change my life.
You said I'm all for it.
I'm all for it.
Okay. Mario is one of the top chefs on the podcast. So I'm gonna switch up the question for him just a little bit. Mario, if you could partner with a bigger professional chef to learn more from, would you choose a personal chef, a master? Is that what they call it, Mario? A master chef? Would you choose to partner with a master chef or have a personal driver?
Well, I mean, the driver part is not a big deal to me, honestly, because I'm not I got the drive. I drive my own way. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the best. I ain't the worst. You know what I'm saying? I went to Keystone, got my driver's license because I know I didn't have to parallel park. So I'm gonna go to I'm gonna train with a master chef. I'm really big on, and it just as it relates to culinary arts and all those type of things, is really taking what you have taught me and making it my own. So you may show me this, but how can I make this a Mario dish, or what I'm saying, this I think. So I would rather sit with a master chef, or even a master chef, personal chef, anybody that's really passionate about cooking and their craft, and take whatever knowledge I can get from them and make it my own.
Okay. All right. I would definitely, as viewers know, I am definitely not the chef, not close, not warm up, not the fixer upper. I don't do any of that. So I would definitely take the personal chef option over the personal driver option. I think I'm a little controlling when it comes to the driving. I would rather drive. And when I thought about this question, the first thing that came to mind is one time we took a trip to New Orleans and Mario was driving and we never been to New Orleans and we came in on that long bridge to New Orleans. And if you've ever gone into New Orleans and you're on this highway, one way in, one way out, I was panicking like, "Oh Lord." But yeah, over the two, I would definitely take the personal chef because I can't do anything. So that would be mine. Mama Kim, what about you?
It's the driver for me. I when I was even driving to Rockwall, so I live in the Dallas area. So I'm driving and I was like, if I just had a personal driver, I would probably be at peace. I wouldn't have to cuss nobody out. I wouldn't feel anxious. I would not feel panicked every time somebody get in my lane. All of a sudden, Dallas driving, Texas drivers scare me. So if anything that I could have would be a personal driver, hands down, I would have a personal driver. I would sit in the back seat. I would be on my phone. I would take a nap. I would be looking at the sights. Personal driver for me.
Personal driver for you. All right. Ronnie, what about you?
Louise, pull up in that black Suburban and hop out and open this back door for me, baby, so I can
Come
hop on
on,
in
wait a
and
minute.
cross
Wait
my
a
feet
minute.
when I get in. Because I hate driving. And even trying to park, if I got to circle the block twice, I'm going back home, baby. I'm not staying. I don't know. Goodbye. Please, yeah, absolutely. And his name is going to be Luis. I don't care what his real name is. Luis.
Louise.
Open
Hey,
this
Are you
back door,
that's
baby.
it twice. You only circling the block twice.
That's it. Especially if it's downtown, I may circle it once and I'm gonna go right on back home.
Hey, Ronnie, his name is Jeffrey for me.
you Jeffrey?
Jeffrey, please come and get me.
Oh my
Luis and
gosh.
Jeffrey, that's their names. Yes.
Listen, does he have to have the little sign and
But
everything?
you
Ronnie
know I
this
love the
way?
sign coming through an airport with my big shades
Oh
on. I
Lord.
waits for that, honey. Yes.
Jesus Christ. Too much, too much, too much. All right, let's do another one. I think we have a few more minutes for another one. Would you rather? Would you rather have to be naked at work for a full day, half a day? Would you rather be at work naked for a half a day, or would you rather be dropped off a mile from your house and have to walk home naked? Mario, we're gonna start in with you. Which one would you choose?
Oh, I'm gonna probably go with being dropped off a mile from my house naked. I can wing it. I can make it happen. Yeah, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. Ain't nothing different than working on the beat. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it work for me.
Oh, God. All right. Mama Kim, I want to hear your answer.
It's gonna be naked for at work for me. I'm not walking nowhere naked for a mile.
What you say? It seems like too much work.
It's naked for a mile. It's cold outside. I'm walking with no. I'm gonna put some trees on my stuff and oh no, some leaves and tree. Oh no, honey, I'm just gonna be at work naked. Like, hey y'all, I'm sorry. I'm excuse my rose, but I'm about to be naked at work. But then they gonna help me. They gonna go give me some cover. They gonna give me a vest. They gonna do. I'm gonna be naked at work. And for the little boys out there, like, hey, Miss Kim, hey, I need a little coat. I need a little jacket. Baby, naked at work for me. Not no walking a mile. Mario, you full of shit, but it's okay. I love you.
Hayward, what you thinking? That dang on
Uh,
Mama
that
Kim.
that excuse my rose. I love it. But I'm with Mo or Mario. Sorry. That I would walk a mile. I would walk a mile home naked over doing it at work because just I don't want to make the people jealous at work. So I just rather walk home and call it a day. So
Come on, jealousy. Come
yeah.
on. All right. Sharon, what you thinking?
I got it. Yeah, I'm a federal employee, okay? I work with, let me just say this. I work for the Department of Veteran Affairs. All them are purrs for the most part. I might as well go ahead and give people what they want. You hear me?
Say that again.
Because they getting these I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry. They getting these benefits and stuff already. They getting out. Listen, baby. They watch me dragging this wagon in work anyway, so they might as well. Yes, I can't be outside because I think psychology is my major. They've been fucked around telling somebody I was crazy and come meet this lady up on the corner. So I don't want to do that. I don't. Yeah, just work. Work is fine.
I'm definitely choosing work. If I have to walk, for one, yeah, walk it's a turn off for me. So definitely I'm gonna sit at work and see, um what
Did you say
suitors I can
walk
go
is a
on and
turn off?
it's a turn off for me. I'm gonna go on and sit at work, bucket, and see what suitors I can go on and bring home. It's a hard no for me on the walk. You gonna drop me a mile away from the crib? Me being out there butt naked, I'm gonna have somebody pick me up to take me to the crib. You know what I mean? Like, what? Either way, I'm gonna win. Either way, but I prefer just to go on and sit at the crib, at home. I mean, at work, and go that route. All right, let's jump into another one. Would you rather? Let me see. Question. Would you rather accidentally send a sexy text? Whoo, this gets juicy. To an in law or to your boss? Would you rather? Mario, I'm going to start with you. Come back to you. Would you rather
Uh,
accidentally send a sexy text to your in law or to your boss?
I'll probably say I'd rather send a sexy text to my in-law because she ain't gonna take me seriously, no way. Um, but like a story within a story is like eh. um, not really a sexy text situation, but so I have a friend, we'll just call him MH. Um, sent me sent me a text of like this nasty picture. And so, how sometimes you think you close out your phone before you hold it a certain way in your hand awkwardly, what I'm saying? Somebody walk up on you. Well, my manager walked up on me while I'm awkwardly holding it, and I thought I had closed it out and it was on on the screen. So I was like, this is really uncomfortable because for multiple reasons. It was very uncomfortable. But yeah, I'm gonna
That
say
happened to you?
it happened to me.
Oh my God. Talk about
We'll
karma
talk
when
we'll
it
talk
comes.
offline about the repercussions of it, and all that good stuff. But yeah, it happened to me. So I'm gonna choose sending a sexy text to my in-law because she ain't gonna take it seriously no way.
Okay. All right. Sharon, what about you? Would you rather accidentally send a sexy text to your in-law or your boss? The face. It's the face for me.
I was gonna say something about in-law, so I'm just gonna say I'll go ahead and fire it off to my boss. Because at this point my mouth is kind of slick at work sometimes. So, buddy, you didn't see me, and I'm gonna tell we both go. What we doing? So we both gonna stay here. So just be cool. No, I'm
Oh
just kidding. I
Lord.
wouldn't do that. But my boss, definitely my boss. In-laws, that'd be just so kind of my boss. Let me just say my boss. Yeah,
For your boss.
my boss.
Okay. Hayward, what about you?
I would also have to say my boss. Yeah, because you never know, might get a raise. So hey,
Oh, come on, Hayward. Okay. I think he said already he don't want them at work jealous. Okay.
We thinking big picture, Hayward. Big picture.
exactly.
Okay. Mama Kim, what are you thinking?
Thank you, Hayward. My boss. I'm sending this. My boss was rubbing my back the other day. I was like, even though he know I don't do no pink meat, but he was rubbing my back. I was like, boy, I'm okay. Because I'm going to give it to you where you're going to make sure I get a little extra on my check. So I'm just like, my boss. I'm going to send him some. I don't send him no pictures, but I might send him some like nasty words and question marks. What you think about some chocolate?
Oh, Lord.
So it's gonna be to my boss. Maybe my GM, because he always winking at me. So maybe that's to my GM, maybe not my boss.
I find it interesting that all the women on here will we're using this picture for financial gain. Knowing our worth. All right, all right, all right. So let's jump into something a little heavier. Just something fun to get us started. All right. So for today's episode, let's talk about which is harder for you to say. Would it be saying I apologize, I need help, I love you, or I was wrong? Which one of those will be the hardest for you to say? Hayward, I'll have you start us off.
Well, for me, I would say honestly, I was wrong. Was probably the most difficult for me to say. Just because I like to pride myself on being right or like trying to at least find the right answer. So just given the situation, I think it's just hard. Even outside of that, not necessarily like searching for an answer, but even if it was like if I was wrong about a situation or something like that to someone, that probably would be difficult for me. The most difficult thing for me to say. Sorry, just because it's you don't want to. I don't want to admit always that I'm wrong. So I think it's just, I think at the end of the day, that's probably the hardest thing.
For you to say, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great perspective. Mo, what about you? What is the hardest thing for you to say and why out of these options? I apologize. I need help. I love you. Or I was wrong.
For me, the hardest thing for me to say is I need help. Yeah, hardest thing for me to say is I need help, and only because I have an issue with feeling like I'm indebted to somebody. And so, in my experiences, may not be everybody's experience, but my experiences in life have led me to believe, or have led me to feel that sometimes when people do things for you, they kind of hold it over your head, and then you, in the sense, feel like you owe them or you're indebted to them going forward. So I just rather not even go down that road and say I need help, because I don't want to ever feel indebted or like I owe anybody. That's my main reason for not saying I need help. It's amazing how you may feel like, don't get me wrong, I've encountered some people that do things from a pure heart, from a pure, and everything like that. So I'm not kind of trying to group everybody into the same category, but however, the exceptions to the rule, those are the ones that hit a little harder, is because they make you to feel like I've done this, and they constantly remind you of I've done this. So now you owe me this, and the third. So my rule of thumb is just kind of like, you know what? I'd rather not. I'm good on it. I see you, and I'll figure it out along the way.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Mama Kim, what about you? What's your thoughts? What's the hardest thing for you to say, and why? Out of I apologize, I need help, I love you, or I was wrong.
I need help. Everything else comes easy. I can tell somebody I love them. I can do all the other things, but me needing help, the biggest thing, like, I just purchased a house again, and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, okay, I might need some more money. I need this, but I wasn't going to ask anybody for help. A lot of things for me, I had to learn on my own, get it out the mud, try to figure it out. Asking people for help, same thing that Mo said, somebody holding something over your head that you owe them something because they helped you, or they gave you something, or they did something for you. Backstory. When I got this house, so before I got this house, I was telling my mom, and I was like, hey, Mom, I want to buy a house, da-da-da-da-da. She said, you think the bank gonna give you some money? You a little older. I was like, Now, Pierre, that's my ride or die. He said, fuck her. I was like, you know what? You're right. But for a second, it hurt my heart, because I was like, why would you say that to me? Why wouldn't you say, you know what, girl, go get that, do this, da 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 da. And I was like, you know what? I didn't ask you for help. So asking for help, to hear something like that, it almost made me not get a house, just because I kept sitting here thinking, if I ask for help, what are you going to say? Are you going to hurt my feelings? Are you going to say something bad to me? So asking for help is the biggest thing. I would go, well, I ain't going to say this is a PG show, because I was about to say I'm going before I ask for some help. But asking for help, hands down, is the worst thing that I could do in my mind. And even though it's people out there that's willing to help you or help me, I don't want to ask for help. So asking for help is the one thing that I hate doing. Even when I'm in need,
no for you.
it's a hard no. Asking for help, I'll try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Ronnie, what's your thoughts?
Okay, y'all. Asking for help. And it's so funny that this is the topic, because that's something that was one of my that was on my vision board for this year. So I'm gonna give you some background. My mom had me at 16. And when I say that she's the best mom ever, like, I'm my only child. My mom, the sun rises and sets on her. That's my baby. Kim can tell you. Like, I can't function without her. But not by family, but people that she went to church with, that she grew up with, elders telling her, you're going to be on welfare, you're 16, you're going to have to quit school, you're going to have to all of this. So to know my mom, once you tell her she can't do something, she's going to make sure she's going to prove you wrong. And that's just her. Like, and when I say my mom's the shit, she's the shit. So let's fast forward to me now, being a parent, and when I was married and everything. Going through my divorce, there was a time when it was like, oh, you got 3 kids. Now, granted, all 3 kids are his. We got our kids together, but Nobody's gonna want you with 3 kids. You gain weight, you've all this, you're not gonna be able to do it by yourself. I saw my mom do it. So that stuck in my head. So if it comes to, I will swallow glass before I ask for help. And I remember telling my mom, I'm like, well, Mom, you did it by yourself. I don't need any help, And she's like, she calls me midget, but I had one. You got 3 private school. You a damn good mother. That's not. But in my head, if I ask anybody for help with even guys, as far as even just to pick them up from school or something, because they're in private school, so there's no buses. Sydney's up at the high school. The twins are at the middle school. Darnell may have a game right after school that starts at 4:45, but Kennedy's volleyball practice starts at 4:45 too. So I have to leave Darnell's game, go pick Kennedy up from volleyball practice, go back to his game. And some of you are the ones that are from Indy. Their school is off like 16th Street, but Sydney goes to high school up in Carmel. So after Darnell's game, now I got to shoot up to Carmel by 6:30 for Sydney's game. You talking about coming in dog tired. I will do my crying and stuff in the shower at night because I'm exhausted, but I will not. It's like something in me is that if I have to ask for help, I feel like I failed, or people's going to think I can't take care of my kids. And I'm working on that. So I'm asking those that pray, please pray for me, because I am where I will sit and be just struggling in silence and won't ask for help. So I'm working on that. I'm working on that. I know that doesn't mean I'm a bad parent or that I can't take care of them, but it's a mental thing. I can't explain it, but it's a mental thing. So that's my thing. When I say I will swallow glass or bite my tongue off before
I say absolutely no. Mario, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I just had a quick question for Ronnie. Now, I get it. Life experiences brought us to these points and stuff like that. My only thing is like, how do your kids play into this? With you being so steadfast and saying, listen, I'd rather not ask for help for this and this, that, and the third. But how has it affected them on the back end?
I can honestly say I don't think it has. And I say that because the little things that I'm not going to say little things, because Lord, helping get a ride here or somebody, go there. I've gotten better, but I can't say that it's anything that would hurt them, like financially or anything. It's more so I want to make every game. I want to make and sometimes I can't. So it's one of those things where it's my aunts and my mom, it'll just be like, hey, just send me the schedule. So it's one of those, okay, well, I know you was at Sydney's game last week. You were at Kennedy's today. So let me go sit at Darnell's, or let me go sit at, so it got to the point where they would just say, and Kim because Kim would just call and say stuff like, oh, well, what's Kennedy doing? Or it's almost like if they say something to me and I'm like, oh, well, if you want to. But to the point now that my mom's kind of like, I'm going to make you ask me. I'm not going to offer. I need you to open your mouth and ask because it's okay. So as far as them, like it's not affected them in a bad way because they also don't really know, it's just like, oh, well, they call my mom Nina. Well, Nina's going to come pick us up today. But anything financially or anything like that, no, nothing like it's just the other stuff. Or even if I'm tired, especially when they were smaller and I just needed a break. I just needed a breather, it was a lot going on. Mario, we could sit and talk outside of this and I could just tell you, it was deep. It was bad. And I just needed a moment. But even to say, I had 3 under 2. I had the twins June 2nd, 2010. A couple weeks later, Sydney turned 2 July 12th of 2010. So I had 3 under 2. It's like for a little bit, they right behind each other, like 13, 14 till he turns, till he turned 15. But I wouldn't even want to ask anybody to just come in. Can you guys just come and watch them so I could take a nap? I didn't even want to do that for one, because they were mine. So I got to take care of them. But also at that time I was still married too. And to me in my head too, that's their dad's here. Why do I have to have somebody else come and watch my kids? So that embarrassment was there too. But they haven't, like, as far as anything to hurt them or anything, I can honestly say that I keep all that away from them. Oh, baby, mama bear, everything's protected. They couldn't even tell you anything is, so.
Okay.
I like the questions, Mario. Thank you. You let me come out and share because Kim knows I don't like to share too much either. So this is a safe space. So I like it. Thank you.
I would have to say, out of the four options, I'm going to go with the majority of everyone else and say that asking for help would be the hardest thing. But my why would be because I just feel like I have a complicated life, and I feel like the things that I want that I do in life, I'm an extra person just naturally. And so I wouldn't want to put that on someone else. So an example would be if the school offered it, my daughter would sign up for it and wanted to be into it. So I wouldn't often need help with someone picking her up and getting her home because I'm usually working two jobs, a full-time job and a part-time job. So with that, if someone offered to pick her up, or if I had to ask and say, hey, can you pick up Aubrion? In my mind, just the way that I offer help, which I think is half of the problem, the way that I offer help, I look at everything in the 360 mindset. So I wouldn't want someone just to pick Aubrion up, but maybe say, did you need me to stop and get her something to eat, to drop her off? I would want that built in because that's something that I wouldn't want to ask for. And because I categorize that under complicated, I just would rather not ask for the help. And I would just rather pay for an Uber, add an additional stop, knowing that I got to get Aubrion something to eat and then it's handled. But like having to, in parent mode, having to break that down for somebody, if it's somebody that's not a parent that's helping me, or even if it's for somebody that's a parent, but they're just being nice to say, I'll do it, and maybe their heart is not into it. Just kind of going into detail of what I consider a complicated life or the extras, I would just rather not ask. So that would be mine. Does anybody have any follow-ups on this?
I want to back just real quick what you said. And again, you said to someone that's not a mom, but I guess in my head, to me, when I pick my kids up from school or anything, I got a snack, or we're going to stop somewhere and get a snack. So that to me, that's an automatic. That's not even anything. I don't know. I guess that makes sense. I'm going to feed them. They're gonna, they're gonna be okay. That's it. But I guess some people don't. I don't understand it. But I don't
I
think that
think it
that's.
kind of
I
falls
don't think that
into
that's complicated though, Kim. That to me that's common sense. It's not feeding a child that just got out of school that's been in school all day. That's not complicated. And if somebody thinks it is, then damn it, they don't need to pick them up no way.
yeah. But some people don't know. Some people
Mhm.
just don't know.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, but I'm not a parent myself, but I would like to think. I mean, just from my own behaviors, is that I would naturally think to, hey, picking you up from school, we're gonna go to probably McDonald's, get you some chicken nuggets or a cheeseburger or what have you, or I'm gonna take you to the Kroger and say, hey, what kind of snack you need. That's just naturally who I am to do certain things. But so honestly, for me, it would be hard for me to understand somebody to not do that,
Mhm.
because I would be thinking like, this is natural. Why do you not think like that? This child's been in school all day. You picking them up. Mm, they're gonna need a snack. They're gonna need some, this and the third. So what's wrong with you to not think to go get them something, that extra little piece of whatever that they may need?
That's
Mhm.
my thing too, because I wouldn't even think to ask, because to me that's like Mario. If I said you're Pierre, hey, can I pick the kids up? I wouldn't even say, now will you stop and get them a snack? Like I just wouldn't. I
Mhm.
wouldn't even think to say that.
Now hold on. Now for me, you might not have to tell me.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You're gonna be like,
Don't you
you're
do
gonna,
it, Pierre.
you're gonna be
Don't
like,
you do
listen, we got some lunch meat at the house. That's all they gonna need.
What you say?
that.
The producer is a color within the lines.
Let me
That's
tell you
right.
something. No, if Kennedy's winning it,
Listen,
listen. If it's Kennedy's
and
in the car, y'all say y'all got
very
lunch
much
meat.
so budget friendly. So
She
listen,
gonna
that
make
ain't in the
sandwiches for
budget.
everybody.
This McDonald's, these extra potato chips ain't in the budget. No, we're going straight to the house.
Oh my goodness. Great conversation, guys. Great
I
conversation.
do have another one though.
Mhm.
Real quick. Mama Kim and also Hayward as well. I mean, I know you both. We all shared the whole thing about what I guess what is it, ask for help. What would be your secondary? This is more so for Mama Kim and for Hayward. What would be your secondary question that you would have an issue with?
It would be needing help for me. Yeah, so I take issue with that as well because I pride myself on doing many things for myself. Like even just from a little kid, like my mom raised me like and my brother like just by herself. And I never wanted to put any extra type of burden on her. So like I never asked for anything like growing up or anything like that. And becoming an adult, like I cannot even count a time where I had to go to her to say that I need anything. And that may be, something that I need to work on, but in general, like it just feels good to be able to help her when I can. So anytime that I feel like I need help, or I try to exhaust every possible option before I have to reach out to anybody for any type of help.
Kim, what about you?
Mine's is apologizing or saying that I'm wrong. I guess that goes hand in hand. Um, and it's only with Pierre. I don't know my other kids, fuck them, but I love them still. But with
Oh, okay.
Pierre, it's always okay. I'm gonna give you the first example, and we probably had back and forth, but this one sticks out. Um, he. It was many times, but this happened with one of his friends, and we was at his house, and they was cleaning the chicken with a lighter, and I was like, "Are we gonna eat anytime soon? Like, what's going on?" And Pierre's like, "You're not gonna talk to my friend like that." I'm like, "Fuck him and fuck you." I go upstairs. I said, "You know what? I can get the fuck out of here." Then I realized I had to catch a plane. I was like, okay, how am I gonna get to the damn airport? And so I'm upstairs, I'm rocking. I'm like, fuck all of these motherfuckers. I'm about to get out of here. So I had to humble myself and I had to go apologize to Pierre's friend and Pierre because Pierre was like, fuck me too. I was like, fuck all of y'all. I'm out of here. I got the pack of my shit. I was like, okay, wait a minute, Kim. How are you gonna get to the airport? And so I had to come downstairs and I had to really think about like how I talk to other people that are not my kids or my family. And I really had to say like, okay, yeah, you was over there with that lighter fucking cleaning the feathers off, but you know what? I apologize. That chicken was hard as fuck, but I apologize that you did that. And so I was like, apologizing and saying I'm sorry is really a hard thing because a lot of people didn't apologize or say sorry to me. So now it's like, okay, moving forward and being a young parent, now I'm older, seeing my kids, and just being able to say, you know what, I'm sorry if I hurt you. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Because I've said some things to Pierre and he like, Ma, I don't like that. Or, hey, you didn't say that right. And I'm like, in my mind, I didn't say anything wrong. But when he speaks up and say, hey, Ma, that hurt my feelings, I had to step back and start thinking like, you know what? I apologize. Accept my apology. And me and Pierre's dialogue has gotten better because now I can sit back and listen instead of saying, I don't care how you feel. I can now stop and listen to see how he feels and then sit back and say, you know what? I really do apologize. And that goes in most of my life because it was always about me. I don't care what you say. I don't care about you. Go, boy, bye, girl, bye. Now I'm more in tune to other people's feelings and just taking the time and just trying to really understand the why of how I speak or how I come off and how I can make them feel better.
Oh, the why. How that shows up in our later years. The
That's right.
why, the why, the why. Okay.
Guys, I have a question. This is for whoever wants to chime in. Just thinking about, we're still on this topic. When it comes to especially asking for help, I know we all have our stories, but there's a part of me, and I want to know what you guys think, that think it's also rooted in our culture. not to ask for help. I mean, does that make sense? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, like I just feel like that's
Yes.
kind of, and yeah, I feel like it's deeper rooted than what we may think.
It is.
Or what we think
Yeah, we think
our
it's just, yeah,
personalities develop. Hmm.
yes.
I think a lot of it, just really quickly, is as it relates to being like, and like you said, in our culture. I think specifically for Black people, I think a lot of times, as opposed to other cultures, one of the biggest things is like for children, once they turn 18, it's like you have to leave the house. Whereas other cultures, they kind of like, they have families living together for as long as they need to in order to get, a good footing or to save money to buy a house, and then they're able to gain this additional wealth, going forward, as opposed to us, who we're pushing our kids out and forcing them to like jump right into it, and they're struggling and they're not in a good position to start off. So I think that's probably one of the bigger things that kind of ties to that whole like not needing help from anybody else.
Oh, I love
Absolutely.
you guys. I literally last week one of my papers was on that, how different, well, it's a cultural class that I'm in now. How some families just push them out. I'm so happy that was one that we didn't have to do that. Even my mom and my grandmother, that wasn't with us, cuz I don't understand that, or the whole you're grown now, you have to go, you're 18, you have to go, you can't come back home. The light's always on here. My babies can always come back if they need to. Life happens.
Hello,
Life happens, and
hello, hello. Knock,
it
knock, knock,
shows
knock,
up.
knock,
Yes.
knock, knock, and
It's
knock,
on. It's
knock,
just, if you need it, it's on. Like,
knock.
life happens.
Miss Ronnie.
It sounds as if this is a topic that we're going to be double backing on in our next week's episode as
We
well.
I'm
definitely need
about
Kim,
to
to
come
you
pack
back
my
got
to that.
bag.
30 seconds, 60 seconds. Run it down real fast.
555. My youngest then came home 5 times. Missed me with the bullshit. But after a letter, them lights are dim now. I love you. What's your cash app? I got you. But 5 times my daughter has came home and lived at my home at 5 different residents. That's your kids young. Wait till they get 30 and they come
Okay.
knocking at your door.
Well, see, I had to go knock in mine after my divorce when I was ready to leave. So and if my mama would have turned me away, I would have
How
been
many
with the
times?
kids. Oh, that was just that one time. But
Five. Let's just go 5. Okay.
It sounds as if we are definitely double backing on this because it can go into many different directions. Hayward, Hayward, lift us up for this week, please. Send us off with something to think about, and we will definitely be coming back next week with another segment. And sounds like we got some double backing to do.
I would definitely agree. Well, thank you all for tuning in again. I just want to leave these parting words to make sure that you make time for yourself. I think we all get so busy and caught up with life happening and everything around us that we don't, stop and honestly smell the roses. I think it's very important to do that self-care, whatever that looks like for you, whether it be booking a massage, going to see a movie, treating yourself to dinner, just learning yourself. It's good to just be in solitude and to just be in tune with yourself, because that's extremely important, because if you don't know yourself, no one else will know you. So I'll leave you all with those words, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week.
hold on, I wanna give a quote to that. A quote based off of your uplift, because I like it. Just be your authentic self. And there is a quote that I love. It's by Dr. Seuss. I know that sounds so childish, guys, but be who I love this quote. Be who you are and say what you feel, because in the end, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So just be yourself all the time.
I love it.
That was, I would love it. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in for another segment of Off Topic Podcast. We would definitely look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. It has been a definitely a great dialogue.
Bye.
Bye 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 bye
Bye
bye.
bye.